You see, in this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those who watch movies, and those who dig.
It's the 1960s, an era of new Hollywood. We were given spaghetti westerns, spy films, social realism, and psychological horror. I'm here to list my top 10 favorites. Gay Paris. Upon first glance, you'd think this film is a ripoff of Disney's The Aristocats. But here's some trivia for you. The Disney film didn't come out until 1970, 8 years after Gay Paris. Not to mention The Aristocats took place in the 1910s, while Gay Paris takes place in Paris earlier than that. They are both musical animations that feature a white female cat and an orange tabby male cat. But thankfully, that's where the similarities end.
That was a very nice song you were singing, Jean-Tom. Please sing some more for me.
The story is about Musette, voiced by Judy Garland. She's a cat living in the country. Her love interest is Jean-Tom. Jean-Tom's best friend and sidekick is Robespierre, a smaller black and white cat who's kind of the third wheel in Jean-Tom and Musette's relationship. Musette decides to leave her farm life to pursue her dream of living in Paris. Jean-Tom goes after her with his buddy following. Jean-Tom and Robespierre travel on foot, while Musette rides on a train and arrives in Paris.
Delightful city, isn't it?
She is approached by Meowris. Why would our main character trust a complete stranger? Well, imagine you just arrived at a new place that you've never been to, and here comes someone who seems harmless and offers you to show you around. So it does seem believable that Musette would just trust anyone. Judy Garland always portrays these innocent, delicate characters.
You will make her into the belle of all Paris.
Of course, dear brother.
Then she is all yours, Henrietta.
What Musette doesn't know is that Meowris plans to use Musette as a mail-order bride for another wealthy cat. The film juggles a lot. Musette's adjustment to life in Paris, Jean-Tom's search for Musette, and Meowris' evil plans. The musical numbers you're either gonna like or not. For me, I love the musical segments. This was the film that introduced me to Judy Garland, and her singing voice is fantastic. Plus, there are those images, the kind that remain with you. Sometimes they show the same animation from previous scenes, but hey, Disney was guilty of that too. The backgrounds are lovely to look at, reflecting the art styles of famous artists, Monet, Van Gogh, and Picasso. In fact, that's how I would describe this film. Art, an underrated animated gem. The Apartment. Baxter is a working man at an insurance company. He has an apartment on the Upper West Side that he lends out to his bosses from work. Straight away, we see the character is a bit of a pushover.
I don't like to complain, but you were supposed to be out of here by 8.
I know, buddy boy, I know, but those things don't always run on schedule like a Greyhound bus.
Well, I don't mind in the summer. It's what on a rainy night.
It's clear that his bosses have no respect for him, but Baxter is hoping to climb the ladder at his workplace, which is why he has a hard time saying no.
Look, Baxter, we're making out the monthly efficiency rating, and I'm putting you in the top 10. Now, you don't want to louse yourself up, do you?
Of course not.
We're introduced to Fran, who works as an elevator operator at his workplace. Then his personal director hints promoting Baxter if he allows him to use his apartment. Baxter agrees, and then asks Fran to go out with him, although it is short notice.
What time does the show go on?
8:30.
Well, I could meet you at the theater if that's all right.
It's revealed that his personnel director and Fran have been having an affair, and she's the woman that the personnel director is bringing to Baxter's apartment. Meanwhile, Baxter is stood up, and he finds Fran in his apartment about to overdose on pills. Although still hurt about being stood up, he lets her recover at his place.
Why can't I ever fall in love with somebody nice like you?
Yeah, well, that's the way it crumbles, cookie-wise.
What makes the film great is the actors. Jack Lemmon, and Sherry MacLaine have great chemistry.
You usually eat alone?
Oh, no. Sometimes I have dinner with Ed Sullivan. Sometimes Dinah Shore, Perry Como. The other night I had dinner with Mae West. Of course, she was much younger then. Cheers.
The two actors would reappear together in the 1963 musical comedy Emma la Douce. It's a film about a nice guy gaining self-respect. And without spoiling what happens, let's just say it's one of the most satisfying moments in film, followed by a great line.
Goodbye, Mr. Sheldry.
Whistle Down the Wind. This movie was recommended to me by the owner of a movie store. I was in the mood for something classic that day. Whistle Down the Wind is a British crime drama. It follows Kathy and her siblings and their day-to-day life, attending Sunday school with the other children. One day, Kathy discovers a man hiding in the barn. In her childlike mind, Kathy is convinced that the bearded man is none other than Jesus.
I've seen him. And listen.
Kathy and her siblings swear not to tell anyone, but one of them tells one kid, and soon all the children want to see Jesus. What the children don't know is that the man hiding in the barn is actually a wanted man. At first, he's confused why the children are helping him by bringing him food and keeping his whereabouts secret.
Why are you helping me?
Because we love you.
And when he realizes that the children think he's the Messiah, we notice that his demeanor shifts as he decides what to do next. What I love about this film is that it captures the innocence of children. When we believed in things like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, and the Great Pumpkin.
But would they crucify him? I suppose some of the bad people might try. But this time, all the good people would have to try even harder to stop them.
Children see the good in everything and are easily influenced. As we grow older, we believe less in things. We remain skeptical until we're given proof. There is a lingering dread that the children, especially our main character, will have to face that the man in the barn isn't really Jesus. We don't want to break their hearts or shatter their faith. Is it better to keep believing? When is it okay to be a skeptic? I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into this. One thing I definitely had to mention is the soundtrack. It perfectly captures childhood nostalgia, just as the film did for me. So yeah, thanks Daniel for recommending this film to me. The Sword in the Stone. The story of King Arthur began as a young man pulling a sword from the stone, and you would think that's what the film is going to be about. And it sort of is. Well, kind of. Let me explain. The film begins with the king's passing, and then a magical appearance of the sword in the stone. The inscription reads that whoever pulls it will be the King of England. Many men tried and failed, and the sword and its prophecy were forgotten. Now, without a king, England falls into the Dark Ages. From there, the story is sort of pushed aside until the end. The future King of England, Arthur, isn't called by his name.
Oh, my name's Arthur, but everyone calls me Wart.
Oh.
Let's discuss the characters. Like I said, the young Arthur, Wart, who's a good kid and has a good heart, not to mention a very hard worker. There's Merlin, a wizard who can see into the future and wants to educate Wart because he believes that he's destined for greatness. And there's his talking owl, Archimedes. Who's that, you may ask?
The highly educated owl.
And then there's Arthur's foster father, Sir Ector. Despite him being strict and giving his foster son a lot of chores, he's not a bad guy. He just puts most of his focus on his actual son, Kay. There's a side plot where the big news spreads throughout England that a tournament is taking place in London. But this time, the winner will be crowned as King of England. Of course, Ector wants his son Kay to compete in the tournament. Arthur may attend the tournament as a squire, as long as he keeps to his chores.
Oh, Sir Ector! Whoa, what?
As I said before, the story is a bit all over. We see Merlin turns Arthur and himself into animals in order to teach valuable lessons. They do run into danger, like a scary-looking pike that looks more like a barracuda, and a hungry wolf. But that doesn't mean either of these animals are villains. In fact, there's not really a villain in this film. Well, unless you count Madame Mim. But she's more of a rival to Merlin, and only appears for a short time. But in the time that she is in, she's a lot of fun. A witch that delves into black magic.
Oh, that's terrible. Thank you, my boy.
The wizard duel between Merlin and Madame Mim is probably the best action-packed scene. For Disney to do a film about King Arthur sounds great, but most of the film is about Arthur and Merlin and their adventures. Even so, not much happens. Sure, you get some educational stuff, but that's it. So, why is it on this list? Well, I have two reasons. One, I like how laid back the majority of the film is. It's not perfect, and I do admire Disney for trying something different. And my second reason? I just found it funny. My cousin and I would laugh at the same parts we did as kids. That little sugar bowl, for example, had my cousin cracking up every time. Archimedes may be my favorite side character in any Disney film. I read online that a lot of people don't like this character. I mean, I sort of get it. He's an owl. He's always dozing off and cranky during the day. And he's a little bit of a know-it-all. But honestly, I found Merlin to be a bit arrogant. And Archimedes does put Merlin in his place. Plus, Archimedes is shown to care deeply for Arthur, even saving his life a few times. Did you know pin feathers is a real thing? The film has its flaws for sure. Notably, Arthur's voice changes throughout the film.
That big fish almost swallowed me.
What's gravity?
But I actually have an explanation for that. First, he's voiced by two actors, one for the first half and the other for the second half. And second, Merlin does mention that Arthur is between the ages of 11 and 12, and that's usually around the time boys hit puberty, and voice changing for boys is part of that. Aside from that, and a couple of more nitpicks, it was a fun, unique, and entertaining film to watch, if you're in the right mood. What can I say? Long live the king, and this film. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? Ugh. I've watched a lot of horror movies, but this was the film that messed me up. It scared me because it felt real. The plot is about two sisters, Jane, who was once a child star known as Baby Jane, and her older sister Blanche. Blanche became a successful actress later in her adult years, but her acting career ended due to an accident that left her paralyzed from the waist down. The sisters live in a house, with Jane as Blanche's caregiver. Jane is still bitter that her career ended, while her older sister is so beloved and still receives fan mail.
Wasn't anything. Just that nosy Mrs. Bates going on about your picture last night.
Oh, really? Did she like it? Oh, really? Did she like it?
Blanche wants to sell the house, but Jane suspects that selling the house means that Blanche will commit her to a mental institution. So Jane does everything she can to cut her sister off from the outside world.
You aren't ever gonna sell this house. And you aren't ever gonna leave it. Either.
Blanche tries desperately to escape. The film builds on suspense and how far Jane will go to keep her sister isolated. Jane enjoys having control over her sister.
Not me that needs a Dr. Blanche.
Blanche is so scared that she doesn't eat any of the food that her sister brings her, convinced that she's trying to kill her. What I find scary is that this isn't some stranger doing all this. It's the character's sister.
Yes, this is Blanche Hudson. What seems to be the trouble?
Fun fact, the two leads, Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, hated each other in real life. Joan Crawford was known for her cutthroat approach in her acting career, and even had an affair with Bette Davis's husband. Shush, I can't imagine how awkward it must have been for these two ladies to co-star together. Not to mention the off-camera disputes that were documented by the crew. But seriously though, this film will have you on the edge of your seat, and it'll make you think twice before putting your trust in anyone, including your family. Guess who's coming to dinner? Joanna returns home from her trip with big news. She met a man named John, and the two got engaged. Joanna's parents, played by Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, find out that John is black.
Mom, this is John.
Dr. Prentice.
And even though Joanna's parents have liberal views, they're still in shock that their 23-year-old daughter is with an African-American man. John is portrayed by the brilliant Sidney Poitier in one of his most memorable performances. He's a doctor and a widower who lost his wife and son. He tells Joanna's parents if they don't approve of the relationship, he will break off the engagement.
I love your daughter. There is nothing I wouldn't do to try to keep her as happy as she was the day I met her. But it seems to me, without your approval, we will make no sense at all.
Things only get more complicated when John's parents fly in. The couple's parents must reconsider their beliefs and whether they can accept it. Both mothers want their children to be happy, while the fathers take a more serious stance.
The thing is that you feel practically the same as I do about this.
That's right. But even so, Mr. Prentice, you know, this is a hell of an unhappy situation for both your son and my daughter.
The New York Times praised the film, and it did portray international couples in a positive light. However, that doesn't mean the film wasn't met with controversy, such as having stereotypes with other characters, and keeping the romantic tension haste due to the stigma that even Hollywood was too afraid to show in films at the time.
Have you thought what people would say about you? Why, in 16 or 17 states, you'd be breaking the law. You'd be criminals.
Not to mention the film was released the same year as the Supreme ruling in Loving versus Virginia in 1967. One last note, this was Spencer Tracy's last film before he passed away that year, and the actress who played Joanna is Katharine Hepburn's niece in her debut film.
You didn't. What a funny thing to do.
Joey, this may be the last chance I'll ever have to tell you to do anything. So I'm telling you, shut up.
It's a mad, 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 mad world. Another great film that my dad recommended. I watched it back when I was in college. That was like, 10 years ago? My roommate was gone for the weekend, and it was just me and her cat, Tricky. The film starts with a car crash somewhere in the California route. The driver tells the group of motorists who were driving down the same route and witnessed the accident about buried money somewhere under a giant W in his dying breath. The group tried deciding how to split the money equally. Unable to agree on anything, they decide it's every man for themselves. From there, it's a race to see who will get the money. We follow each group of characters as they travel by various means, such as by vehicle and by air. Other characters join the race. Each character is greedy. Some even double-cross one another. They run into situations, and we witness them trying to get back on track in hilarious ways.
What happened to you?
So, what happens at the end? Who gets the money? I won't dare ruin it. These characters work off each other. A big part of that is because the cast included famous comedians at the time. Spencer Tracy, Milton Berle, Buddy Hackett, Mickey Rooney, Ethel Merman, Dick Shawn, and Sid Caesar. There's also cameos of Buster Keaton, the Three Stooges, and a few others.
Having any trouble?
Yes! And we don't need any help from you!
One character we love to hate is Mrs. Marcus. She's the loud, nagging mother-in-law, And every time something bad happens to her, you just laugh your head off. Yeah, take that, you old bat.
Except you, lady. May you just drop dead!
There were so many funny moments to name. I recently watched this with my cousin, and we were just both laughing our heads off. So, if you got a couple of hours to spare, why not watch an epic comedy for the ages? Believe me, it'll have you looking back in laughter. Psycho. Based on a book with the same name by Robert Bloch, and loosely based on the serial killer Ed Gein. The story goes of a woman named Marion Crane who works at a bank. One afternoon, she steals an envelope of money and leaves town in her car. She stops at a motel that's run by Norman Bates, a shy, awkward man who lives with his controlling mother.
Oh, we have 12 vacancies. 12 cabins, 12 vacancies. They moved away the highway.
The famous shower scene is one of the best-known scenes in any film. The way it was shot and the music scored by Bernard Herrmann. Many films and TV shows parody the scene, mostly for comedy. But for the actress Janet Leigh, it was anything but funny. She was so traumatized that she never took showers after that. This gave her the title of Scream Queen. And later, her daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis, became Scream Queen in Halloween. Hitchcock took a huge risk with the main lead that when the film hit theaters, he would not allow any latecomers to the movie theater. If you wanted to see Psycho, you had to be there at the beginning of the film, or else you weren't allowed in.
Bates Motel printed on it in case you want to make your friends back home feel envious. And over there.
The bathroom.
Yeah.
Another famous character we need to discuss is Norman Bates, played by Anthony Perkins. As I said in the beginning, he is loosely based on Ed Gein, who had an unhealthy obsession over his mother. Anthony Perkins was fantastic, going from calm and polite one moment to becoming intense and frightening the next. He's not over the top, proving that less is more.
I hate the illness.
Wouldn't it be better if you put her someplace?
You mean an institution? A madhouse? People always call a madhouse someplace, don't they?
Anthony Perkins reprised his role as Norman Bates in the later sequels. They didn't capture the 1960s film's shock value, but I did hear positive things about Psycho 2, but that's a whole different discussion.
But she's harmless. She's as harmless as one of those stuffed birds.
For all horror lovers, give it a watch and see for yourself how influential this film was to the horror genre. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The third and final film of the Dollar trilogy, The Man with No Name, is one of those famous fictional characters. In the 1920s, there was the Tramp. In the 1960s, there was the Man with No Name. The character's mystique made him fascinating. Plus, he's played by the legendary Clint Eastwood. In this film, the character is given the name Blondie. And he partners up with the Mexican outlaw Tuco, played by Eli Walsh. Tuco knows the name of the cemetery, and Blondie knows the name of the grave where the gold is buried. So the two men journey across the Southwest during the Civil War. A bounty hunter, Angel Eyes, is also after the gold.
See you soon.
Idiots. It's for you.
When I think of spaghetti western, this is the film that comes to mind. It has horseback riding, gun shooting, and large landscapes that stretch for miles. The three characters, Blondie, Angel Eyes, and Tuco, represent the title, the good being Blondie, the bounty hunter who has his own code of honor, even if he's after gold, the bad being Angel Eyes, who is sadistic and would kill anyone to get what he wants, and the ugly being Tuco, the shit-talking bandit.
He understands nothing about Tuco. Nothing.
The cinematography is outstanding, especially with the famous duel scene. There are wide shots, close-ups, and over-the-shoulder shots. The soundtrack is composed by Ennio Morricone. Despite its dark themes of greed and violence, The Good and the Bad and the Ugly is considered one of the greatest Western films.
When you have to shoot, don't talk.
I suggest checking out the first two films of the Dollar trilogy. This is one of those instances where the third film is the best. And for number one, In the Heat of the Night. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly may be a groundbreaking film, and could have been my top pick for this list. However, In the Heat of the Night played a significant part in both history and in film. A wealthy industrialist is murdered, and the search is on to find the murderer. The same night as the crime was committed, one of the officers arrests a colored man and brings him to the station for questioning. They learn that the man is not the suspect they're searching for. He's a police officer.
Just what you do up there in little old Pennsylvania, earn that kind of money?
I'm a police officer.
Yeah, talk about awkward introductions. When Virgil calls his sergeant, he suggests he stays and helps the police with the investigation, since he works in homicide.
You can't be serious, sir. I mean, even if I could be of some help, they wouldn't want it. No, sir, I'm not prejudiced.
Sergeant Tibbs and Chief Gillespie have to eventually put their differences aside to solve the case. The further they delve into the case, the more complex the case becomes. Once again, Sidney Poitier is amazing. Probably the first African actor to break stereotypes in Hollywood, inspiring African actors to do the same. There's a scene where a plantation owner slaps Officer Tibbs, only for him to slap him back. Up until now, seeing a colored person slap a white person was unheard of.
You saw it. I saw it. Well, what are you going to do about it?
In the Heat of the Night isn't just a great film with good dialogue, a thrilling storyline, and complex characters. It was an important film in the 60s, depicting the significance of history.
What do you want to do? You want me to beg you? Is that what you're after?
Look, I've had your town up to here.
The director, Norman Jewison, who was a Canadian filmmaker, took a huge risk. Yet, the film became a huge success, making 10 times at the box office, nominated for 6 Oscars, including Best Picture. There were 2 sequels with Sidney Poitier returning to his role as Sergeant Tibbs, even spawning a TV series. One last thing. In Disney's The Lion King, the part where Pumbaa says, "They call me Mr. Pig," it's a reference to "They call me Mr. Tibbs."
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
A quote in the film and the title of one of the sequels. If you haven't seen this masterpiece, all I gotta say is, what are you waiting for?
You hear?
And there you have it. If you like any of these films or have any recommendations, please share in the comments. Next video, we're entering the 70s.
But until that time, you folks stay classy.